All right, we should be back in the building. Let me double check and make sure my microphone's on this time. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, and shout out to everyone who's in the building. Good to see y'all, and welcome. Welcome back to another YouTube live stream. We've got a great show for you today. A lot of interesting stuff going on. We're going to talk about this case we've covered here on the channel, what's going on with James Pierce Jr., NFL star that he's doing some wild stuff out there in Miami. We're going to talk about it here shortly. We've got a couple instances of that. Then we're going to get into, of course, our main topic. We're going to talk about what's going on with Nancy Guthrie. Hope y'all are ready for this one today. Get your tinfoil hats ready because it's conspiracy theory time. Yes, we are finally here. We've been talking about it on this channel out of respect, maybe a couple days after the news broke. But once we started to get information from the Pima County Sheriff's Department and from the FBI, a lot of this didn't make sense. So we're finally here. We're finally going to talk about the conspiracy theories going around, not just from people who are out here talking like yours truly, but from some who have a very impressive background in this field, experience with these types of situations that are saying, I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing what I don't think this is actually a kidnapping. We're going to see what they have to say on this. But before I get into it, I've got to say what's up to the people, man. Thank you to everybody who's in the building. So good to see y'all. Of course, we've got my beautiful, awesome, amazing Amy E is in here doing what she does, and that's be amazing. Thank you, Amy, for being here. I love you. I appreciate you. Les Cleaver is in the building. Look at Les Cleaver, man, has been a member for 16 months. My goodness. He says it's great to see you doing well, ClassE and Amy, as it's been a long road traveled in such a short time. Amen. Amen. And shout out to you, Les Cleaver. Thank you for the support. We got a bunch of the members gang in here. We got Taco Tuesday up in here. It is your day. B-Mac is in the building too. Shout out to B-Mac. Nana Bananas up in here, as well as many others in the building. I will be saying good morning to y'all and good afternoon as we go throughout the show. But before we get started, I do have one favor to ask, and y'all know what it is. I'm going to ask you to like the video on your way in. Likes are free, helps the channel continue to grow, and lets the algorithm know that you guys are enjoying the show. Shares the video, the channel, this live stream you're watching right now with more people. So thank you to everyone that's done that. Nearly 700 of you have liked the video so far, which is amazing. So thank y'all for the love. Thank y'all for the support. We're already starting with 700 likes. That's absolutely crazy, and I appreciate it. Y'all know I do. If you're feeling extra generous, you can share the video out as well. That's easy to do. Just click the share button. That'll allow you to share it to any social media platform you're on, whether that's X, Instagram, Facebook. You can even share it in a text message to your group chat. And then I will be reading super chats as we go throughout the show. Shout out to Les Cleaver again for dropping his milestone, his membership milestone in the super chat. So shout out to him. Thank you for that. And thank you for the continued love, Les Cleaver. Been here for 16 months. One of the hardest working guys I know. Always in here supporting. All right, we're going to go ahead and get into it. So again, make sure y'all comment in the chat too. I know we had a lot of people who are new in here as well. We welcome differing opinions on this show. So even if you don't agree with the topic at hand, you don't agree with the way I'm saying it, if you don't agree with some of the comments in the chat, please, I love the conversation. I love interacting with you guys in the chat. Myself, just make sure you keep it respectful. That's all I ask. And you do not have to agree. You can disagree with everything I have to say and you're still welcome. So glad to see all of y'all in the building as well. Let's go ahead and get into our first topic. This one is interesting. Now, and I need to replay this video too. We've been covering on this channel what's been going on with this James Pierce Jr. situation. If you don't know who he is, he's a linebacker, middle linebacker for the Atlanta Falcons right here in Fulton County in Atlanta. And this man got arrested for doing some dumb stuff, allegedly, not only with the police, but in front of the police and allegedly at the police station. Yeah, I know, it's crazy. And what it's alleging happened is insane. If you guys haven't seen the video of him getting arrested, I'm going to play it for you real quick before we actually get into what's going on with this story. This is a big dude. Remember this. He's obviously one of the reasons he's getting arrested is for resisting arrest. 6 feet 5 inches tall, about 250 pounds, pure muscle. You don't want to mess with this guy. This is not a guy you want to fight with. And that's what happened here. Crazy. Look at this. It took about 6-7 officers to bring this guy down. You can see them locking them up there in Doral, Florida. And it gets wild. Scott's in the building. What's up, Scott? And then they locked his you know what up. All right, so you're probably wondering, well, what actually happened? What went down here? Well, let's talk about it. James Pierce Jr. has made his first court appearance in the last couple of days, and he had a bond of $20,000, $20,500. We knew it was going to be a minimum of $3 because the minimum of bond that he was going to have to pay as a result of some of the charges. The judge issued the Falcons linebacker a total bond of $20,500 and a stay away order from the alleged victim. We're going to get into the victim here shortly. The victim in this case is his girlfriend. Well, I don't know if she is anymore. Rickea Jackson. Rickea Jackson is a WNBA star. She plays for the LA Sparks and was also drafted into the WNBA the same year her boyfriend, James Pierce, was drafted into the NFL. So they've been together. She's doing her thing. He's doing his thing. And here's the story that allegedly went down. It's wild. Check this out. WNBA star Rickea Jackson told police that she broke up with Falcons rookie James Pierce, whom she dated for 3 years, but recently ended the relationship. Not surprising this would all happen because of that. Rickea blocked James' number so he could not reach out to her, but instead he used another phone to text her. Last Friday, she texted him to leave her alone and that she wanted nothing to do with him. Saturday morning, she noticed while stopping at a red light that he was following her in his Lamborghini. He allegedly got out of his car and tried to open her door. Man. Rickea accelerated away and drove toward the police department. He got into his car, followed her, and then tried to rear-end her car near the police station. When she tried to back out, he collided head-on with her car, and police arrived and ordered Pierce to the ground with guns drawn. This could have ended so much worse. James got back into his car, locked the car, and started driving away, hitting a police officer in the knee and hitting a patrol car. We're actually going to see the pictures and video from that as well. James Pierce Jr. crashed at an intersection, attempting to run away, and then resisted arrest from many officers. We counted about 6-7 of them. Oh man, I got to do it for the kids now. 6-7 of those things. It is wild. A very scary story indeed. Let's see some of the footage here. This is video of James Pierce being released on bond earlier in the last couple of days. And of course, he's facing those 5 felony charges. I mean, he doesn't look that upset. His NFL career is most likely over, though, if this is true. I mean, there were really 6-7 police officers. We just saw the video.
Earlier, we stand by that.
Would you like to say anything to the NFL fans, to the Atlanta fans? Were you stopping her?
Yeah, he needs to shut his mouth. And honestly, I personally believe this guy's career is over. We'll get into the article here in a second, but I want to show you guys this video because we actually get to see what the patrol car looked like. Insane.
The NFL star linebacker charged with domestic violence and battery on a law enforcement officer has now posted bond. You see right here how it took a handful of police officers to arrest James Pierce Jr. after he led them on a wild chase through Doral. He hopes to walk out of jail at any moment. Local 10 broke this story exclusively Saturday night.
And the Doral police chief told Local 10 when his officers tried to arrest Pierce for domestic violence against his girlfriend, a professional athlete herself, he took off in her car. We have Local 10's Magdala Louisant live in Southwest Miami-Dade waiting for Pierce to walk out of jail any minute now. But what we can tell you is what he said to the judge today.
What a dummy.
Yes, he didn't have much to say, but he did say he understands when the judge told him to stay away from Rickea Jackson. And when Mr. Pierce does walk out of TGK, his attorneys say he is going to Atlanta.
The aggravated battery with a deadly weapon to wet the car They're two separate incidents.
Atlanta Falcons linebacker James Pierce Jr. is used to wearing red and black. Today, he's in an orange jumpsuit facing a Miami-Dade County judge. The 22-year-old NFL star appearing via Zoom after a chaotic arrest in Doral. One of Pierce's attorneys attempts to defend him, mentioning where he works, but the judge quickly makes it clear his NFL status doesn't carry weight here.
The reason why I said who he is so you understand that he's not a flight risk.
Sorry, but I don't think you understand. I have no care about what his employment is. Okay? I have an individual charged with a crime.
And that brings the NFL rookie to this moment, where he's facing multiple felony charges: aggravated battery, domestic violence, stalking, and aggravated battery on a law enforcement officer. Videos shared with Local 10 show of at least 6 Doral police officers struggling to take down the 6'5", 245-pound linebacker. Doral Police Chief Edwin Lopez tells Local 10 the incident began with a domestic dispute between Pierce and WNBA Los Angeles Sparks superstar Rakia Jackson at the Doral police station. Lopez says when officers tried to arrest Pierce, he took off in Jackson's car, sparking a chase that ended in a gated Doral neighborhood. Jackson is in South Florida playing for a team in the offseason. The judge told Pierce to stay away from Jackson and do not communicate with her.
Seems pretty straightforward.
Do you have any need to return to pick up any personal belongings?
Judge, I would just leave everything there. Whatever's there, it can stay there. It's fine.
Wow. Wow, absolutely wild.
And James Pierce could walk out of TGK at any moment. There's a cruiser here waiting for him. He has some staff members. We've seen at least 3 men who are here waiting at the door, waiting for him to come out. Now, there's been an outpouring support for Rakia Jackson on social media, for her and her family. As for this football player's future with the Atlanta football team, right now we're not sure, but they have said they're aware of what happened and they are not going to comment on any open legal matters right now.
As they should. And y'all know, I mean, you think another team is going to pick this guy up? Usually when it's a rookie, and especially this kid who was drafted in the 3rd round, as we found out the other day. Again, would he have been a star here in Atlanta? Possibly. Is he someone that you want to take a chance on in the NFL? I highly doubt it. I highly doubt it. We've got one more update I want to give to you guys here about this. NFL linebacker James Pierce Jr. stalked his WNBA star Rakia Jackson girlfriend and purposely crashed into her vehicle twice in the minutes leading up to his arrest in Doral over the weekend, according to arrest reports made public on Monday. Police said that the Atlanta Falcons rookie and the LA Sparks player had recently broken up. Authorities said after crashing into Jackson's vehicle as she drove to the police station, Pierce, he is 22 years old, of Charlotte, North Carolina, purposely hit an officer as he tried to flee authorities on Saturday. Again, we saw what happened with Renee Good. This guy's lucky it didn't end the same way. He's lucky this officer showed some restraint, because you can't be hitting people with your cars. I've said this so many times that you cannot do this. You think that would be common sense? Apparently not. He's now facing 7 charges, a lot of felonies. Yeah. The Doral Police Department report states that Jackson, 24, had blocked Pierce's phone number after ending a 3-year relationship, as we talked about before. And this is what the police report actually said. Fearing for her safety, Rakia Jackson stated that she accelerated away from the intersection. Pierce re-entered his vehicle and continued pursuing her at a high rate of speed. Authorities said that as Jackson, who had also called 911, tried to drive to the DPD headquarters, Pierce purposely rear-ended her. Police said as Jackson drove in multiple circles around the area of the police station in an attempt to evade the police, and she got near the station, he again cut her off and blocked her access to the police station. This must have been something to see. I wonder if they have the video of this. I would be interested to see what happened in this situation from the police station's point of view, because they're probably like, what in the world is going on out here? As she reversed her vehicle in an attempt to escape Pierce, he intentionally collided with her head on in her vehicle. According to separate DPD reports, officers arrived soon after and an officer pulled out his gun and ordered Pierce to the ground. The athlete ignored his commands and got back in his Lamborghini. Police said the officers tried to open the door to get Pierce out twice, but he drove away and hit the officer in the knee as he fled. While the officers were attempting to apprehend him, they say, he began to resist arrest by tensing his arms and not allowing the officers to apprehend him. After a short struggle, the defendant was taken into custody. Wow, cops arrested Pierce on 2 counts of aggravated battery with a deadly weapon and 1 count of each of aggravated stalking, fleeing and eluding, aggravated battery on a law enforcement officer, and resisting without violence. Even if he's a first offender, I don't see how he avoids doing jail time, specifically based on the nature of his crime. Hitting her car, stalking her, clearly violent, resisting arrest, hitting an officer. This man gonna be in jail for a minute. Let me know what y'all think about this mess in the comments and in the chat. And we've got one more segment on this too, so shout out to y'all. Scott's over there shaking his head. Said, "Oh, the Raiders, man, dang, you're not going to the That's wild. They that desperate out here? Are they that desperate? Jeez, man. We've got one more part of this we want to get into. I said I was going to show you guys the patrol car that he ran into. This is going to be crazy. This is why people need to drive with video cameras in their car, front and back. Yep. It may seem like overkill, but best for having an evidence in a case something happens. I hope it was worth it. I really hope it was worth it. Good morning to everybody just stopping by. I know some of y'all on the East Coast is about to be afternoon. I should say some of us on the East Coast is about to be afternoon. Wow. Yeah, I don't care what he does for a living either. If anything, you're saying the NFL would give the judge cause for concern in this day. NFL does not have a great track record when it comes to athletes being violent. So that much is clear. So now that we've talked about what happened in this James Pierce situation, we get to see he's actually been released on bond and what happened and what went down. We're also going to see some video that was recently dropped on social media of an interaction that James had with Rikia Jackson, his girlfriend, and things look a little bit weird. But first, let's talk about the charges and this ridiculousness that this man was involved in. Look at this police car, man.
Also developing here at noon, an NFL
crazy.
player is now out of jail after bonding out following his arrest over the weekend in Doral.
He is accused of stalking his WNBA girlfriend and purposely crashing into her car twice. Local 10's Lenny Sue Paul is live outside the jail in West Miami-Dade.
And she's telling us a little bit about what those charges are that the NFL player is now facing right now.
James Pierce Jr. facing a long list of felony charges, including battery, domestic violence. This all happening after a 3-year relationship recently came to an end. But Saturday morning, the situation took a violent turn. Atlanta Falcons star linebacker James Pierce Jr. bonding out of jail Sunday night with a white towel draped across his face.
And in case they don't say, the bond was $20,500 for an NFL star, even a rookie who just signed a rookie contract. It's nothing.
Quickly approached by 3 men in suits who picked him up, they appeared to exchange words with him, getting Pierce to remove the towel and uncover his face.
They say
James,
keep your mouth
is there anything you want to
shut.
address about the
No
charges?
comment at this
Do you want
time.
to
Pierce dodging questions, walking off in a hurry with no comment to his domestic battery charge. The alleged victim is Los Angeles Sparks forward Rikia Jackson, a rising star in the WNBA. On Sunday, a judge asking questions while ordering him to stay away from her.
I have no care about what his employment is. Okay?
A newly released police report shedding light on what happened Saturday morning. Jackson noticing Pierce's Lamborghini SUV following her. The report goes on to say when stopped at an intersection, he got out of his vehicle and tried to open her driver's side door. According to police, she drove away, but Pierce continued speeding after her. She drove to the Doral Police Department for help, but he tried to stop her, at one point rear-ending her, then intentionally colliding head-on with her vehicle.
Do you have
And in case y'all were wondering, he signed a $16 million 4-year rookie contract, fully guaranteed. And I believe, what did they say? I think he got nearly a $9 million signing bonus. So that $20,000, he probably, anyway, I won't say anymore. Let's hear what the judge had to say.
Have any need to
Fully
return
guaranteed.
to pick up any personal belongings?
Judge, I would just leave everything there. Whatever's there, it can stay there. It's fine.
A police report just released this morning shares more details about the situation that unfolded Saturday morning. A woman reporting someone was following her in a white Lamborghini around Northwest 99th Avenue in Doral. The report says when officers arrived, they located Pierce standing outside the vehicle, but he didn't comply with officer commands. The linebacker lighting up social media over the weekend, but it's his actions off the field capturing national attention. From this police chase in Doral to this dramatic takedown, roughly half a dozen officers spotted wrangling with the 6'5", 245-pound player before his arrest. Now he's returning to Atlanta with a list of felony charges, including aggravated domestic battery, aggravated battery on a law enforcement officer, and stalking.
Were you stalking her?
What's he gonna say? Yeah, I was stalking her.
That police report also says that Rikia Jackson was trying to drive to the Doral Police Department, but at that point in time, Pierce slammed into her 2 different times. We reached out to the Atlanta Falcons for further comment. They say they do not have any more comments at this time.
Yeah, I'll comment on behalf of the Atlanta Falcons. In the case of James Pierce Jr., we are monitoring the situation closely. At this time, James Pierce Jr. will not be active on the Atlanta Falcons roster, and we will assess how to move forward with this situation at a later time. Basically, he ain't coming back. All right. Here's the situation. We saw this earlier where the judge was saying, I do not care that he plays for the NFL. He's going to jail.
Do you have any need to return to pick up any personal belongings?
Judge, I would just leave everything there. Whatever's there, it can stay there. It's fine.
She said, man, get up out of here. What is your plan, sir? It's embarrassing. Let's get more information about this situation that just came out recently. NFL star, well, we'll call him NFL Falcons rookie, James Pierce, arrested on 5 domestic violence charges after a crash in a police chase. Atlanta Falcons rookie James Pierce Jr. was arrested Sunday on a series of domestic violence related charges, according to Miami-Dade County Jail records. He's facing, here we go, Amy just said this, 2 counts of aggravated battery with a deadly weapon, as well as aggravated stalking, fleeing or eluding police with lights or sirens, aggravated battery involving a law enforcement officer because he hit the officer with his car, and resisting an officer without violence to his person. He was booked at Turner G. Knight Correctional Center on Saturday. On Sunday, it was confirmed that Pierce is facing 5 felony accounts, and he posted a $20,000 bond per ESPN. As I mentioned, he was looking to sign another 1-year deal. He's got $7 million of guaranteed money that he could possibly get paid by the NFL. Either way, he's still a millionaire. I mean, depending on how much of that $8 million, nearly $9 million that he spent, he's probably still got a good bit of money and could potentially be set for life. We'll have to wait and see. With the way he makes decisions and choices, maybe not. More details are emerging regarding Pierce's arrest on Monday. Pierce was accused of crashing his car into another car that was being driven by his girlfriend. Pierce was also accused of hitting a police officer with his vehicle while trying to evade arrest. I mean, no one's surprised here. Now, this is the video I mentioned to you guys that's showing an interaction that James had with Rikia Jackson. You guys can see this video, and we'll get our resident body language expert, Amy, to see what she thinks about this. But shout out to ML Football for posting this. They say a video of Falcons star James Pierce Jr. and his girlfriend Rikia Jackson from 2 weeks ago has resurfaced and gone viral on social media. You can see their relationship maybe wasn't in the greatest place and how uncomfortable Rikia looks. Check this out.
I'm tagging her in this too. So however she acting, that's on her. What you watching, mommy?
I was just seeing where you got
Oh yeah. Say hey. I'm posting this too.
Baby,
I'm posting this. Give me a kiss. So don't act like that. Give me a kiss. I'm tagging her.
Maybe something, maybe nothing. Well, we know it's something now. And then I had to play this video, somewhat ironic. James Pierce's mother talking about his character at the NFL draft. This one definitely didn't age well. I want you guys to let me know what you think about this in the comment in the chat. Listen to what his mom says.
I am so proud of all that my son has accomplished, but I'm even prouder of the man that he has become. James has a heart of gold, deep love for family and friends, and a true resilience in the face of doubt. Junior man, you have so much success ahead of you. I love you, son.
Oh, that's nice. But yeah, this man he lost a lot of money just now. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comments in the chat. With the bond and with this situation coming up, we're going to keep covering it here. Sad to see Rakia was affected by this. And I mean, justice is going to be served. What's going to happen with this NFL contract? We'll have to wait and see. Shout out to the gang in here, man. Good to see y'all. He needs some anger management. I know, and he's young. I'm not going to make excuses for him, but come on, brother. You got to be smarter than that. You got a lot. There's got to be some type of class or training these NFL guys can go through about how to move. You got to be smarter than that. Money can't buy too much if he's behind bars. There's some pretty heavy charges. Yeah, he's going to jail. Matt Ryan says he's fired. Yo, shout out to Matt Ryan. It's good to see Matt Ryan back up there. Amy also said his charges include 2 counts of aggravated battery with a deadly weapon, aggravated stalking. Yep, we just talked about that as well. Idiot reporters. Hey, that's tough. Shout out to Amy for dropping the super sticker. Can y'all put Amy in the chat? She does so much. And we see she's got the cakiest cake in the building, reminding me about that. And yes, we know it's almost lunchtime as well. Thank you, Amy, for all the love and support that you show me, that you show this channel. Thank you for everything you do as well. Y'all are going to be hearing Amy's name as we go throughout the rest of this program, because she has been doing a lot of research and investigating into what's been going on with Nancy Guthrie. So make sure, if you don't follow her on X at IAMYLEIGH on X. That's Amy Lee on X, because she's been doing an amazing job covering this and many other stories, which we're going to hear a lot of her reporting here on the show today. And shout out to Amy for supporting as always, man. I appreciate you. All right, let's go ahead and get into our next topic. We got to get into what's going on with Savannah Guthrie, with Nancy Guthrie, with Annie Guthrie. And I told y'all it's conspiracy theory time today. So as factually based as I like to be, we got to start talking about what we're seeing and what the evidence that we have seen is starting to show. Because when it comes to this whole story about Nancy Guthrie's disappearance, how we're seeing her family react, the things that people close to this investigation are saying, a lot of us are very confused and wanting to understand what's going on. So we're going to talk about it here in a second. Thank y'all for showing Amy love in the chat too. She does so good. I can't go on X. My blood pressure can't handle it. Listen, I understand, Scott. Trust me, I'm with you on that. If I were able to get off of social media completely today, I would. I definitely would. It's wild out there. So let's talk about it. Guys, I didn't think we were going to get to this point. I was hoping that Nancy Guthrie would be returned doing well, maybe a little bit shaken, but alive. Now it is time for us to talk about what we're actually seeing and what is going on with this investigation into Nancy Guthrie's disappearance. Because let's be real, a lot of it doesn't make sense. Annie and her husband, what's going on with them? They were the last ones to see Nancy alive. She was allegedly at their house and then was brought back home. We have the Nest cameras being disconnected, smashed. There's so much going on in this case. It's very confusing, and it's not adding up. So we're going to get into a brand new update here we have about what's going on with Nancy Guthrie. If you haven't seen this video, we're going to hear from Savannah Guthrie pleading again for the abductors to bring her mom back and maybe giving some insight into what is going on with Nancy, if she's alive. Check this out.
Hi there, everybody. I wanted to come on and just share a few thoughts as we enter into another week of this nightmare. I just want to say, first of all, thank you so much for all of the prayers
Sad.
and the love that we have felt, my sister and brother and I, and that our mom has felt. Because we believe that somehow, some way, she is feeling these prayers and that God is lifting her even in this moment and in this darkest place.
Dang.
We believe our mom is still out there. We need your help. Law enforcement is working tirelessly around the clock, trying to bring her home, trying to find her. She was taken and we don't know where. And we need your help. So I'm coming on just to ask you, not just for your prayers, but no matter where you are, even if you're far from Tucson, if you see anything, if you hear anything, if there's anything at all that seems strange to you, that you report to law enforcement. We are at an hour of desperation, and we need your help.
Now, we haven't heard anything about what's going on with the deadline. As we know, the deadline passed yesterday at 5 p.m. Now, that's not 5 p.m. our time here on the East Coast, but we're already on Tuesday, so we know the deadline passed. Now we're hearing more information about some of the things that were being seen at the crime scene, some of the things that were taking place, and what Pima County is saying about the investigation. Check this out. Again, Amy posted this over on X. If y'all don't follow Amy, please make sure you do that at IAMYLEIGH on X. That's at IAmyLee on X. She posted this video, someone who's reporting that Pima County has an update when it comes to collection of evidence at the crime scene. They say this. Amy says, update on Nancy Guthrie's case. Cheek swabs. Investigators are taking DNA samples from a landscaper, a pool cleaner, and others who worked at Nancy Guthrie's home. According to a law enforcement source, again, this is being reported, and why they haven't done this to Annie and her husband, they most likely have, I can imagine, with them being the last ones who saw her alive. Check out this video.
Revealed that there are some individuals that were workers around the house that are being swabbed. That means that they're taking DNA samples from them. Now, why is that significant? Because it reveals that there was DNA found in the home or at the crime scene, that they are now going to use these samples to either eliminate them as suspects or generate information that might bring some other results.
Yeah, and again, someone asked a great question in the chat. What's going on with the ransom? We've heard about the Bitcoin address that was supposed to be used, which we're actually going to get into in a later video, and that's empty. That whole wallet is empty. So there hasn't been a $6 million ransom paid. I didn't believe that story in the first place, to be honest. I don't know where that came from, whether it was TMZ or someone else, but that $6 million to Bitcoin never made sense to me. Maybe it was cash. I've got my own theories on that. We won't really talk about it here. But now let's hear from ABC News and find out some updates when it comes to what's going on with finding Nancy Guthrie.
And former FBI agent Brad Garrett. And speaking of the statement from Savannah yesterday, Brad, what do you make of it? Because it was quite different.
So it struck me, Robin, that she has sort of given up on these alleged kidnappers. The time frame of yesterday afternoon,
sounds like
it's gone, and she's now appealing to the rest of us, to the country, for leads to get information as to where her mother might be.
And they said, we've heard this from the FBI, by the way, that the kidnappers said they're not going to be in contact anymore. So I don't know if they wanted to talk to them again before they paid. That's why the ransom wasn't paid. The kidnappers are allegedly saying, hey, this is a hostage situation. pay or we're not talking. Call us when you make the payment. Which again, that could be the reason why Savannah Guthrie made this video and said, hey, please, somebody help us find her because they're not talking to us.
So it goes from really the focus of communication with these alleged kidnappers to let's get everybody else to help us because we need to find Nancy.
It appears that the FBI doesn't know all that much. They don't know about any other communication. How do you explain that?
George, this is the weirdest kidnapping, ransom kidnapping I've ever dealt with or been involved in any way because you typically, this is how it runs, obviously. You take the person, you communicate with the victim, you negotiate a price, and then you negotiate delivery of the victim, and the money is dispersed however it might be.
Exactly.
This is a one-way street. This has been emails, not even sent to the family, but to the media.
Doesn't make sense.
And it has such a disconnect to it. It's bothered me all along as to how would they ever even show proof of life? How would you even get it to Savannah's family? It's really a strange combination, and it looks like she and probably the FBI have moved on, at least to the extent of other leads, but they're going to track down these folks. I guarantee you that sent these emails.
Yeah, there's so many folks that are out there on this case right now, but can you speak more to this?
It might not be that easy because, again, they use certain encrypted methods to send these emails, so they might not be able to find who sent the email or where it was sent from. There's a reason it's encrypted. Because
you're not the only one who's saying that there's something seems a little bit off, that it's not, as you were alluding to, it's not the typical type of kidnapping for ransom.
No, it clearly isn't. And did they have information about being in the house? Well, it sounds like it. We don't know that, but that's certainly the implication, that they had information that would give them some validity with the family. But I'll tell you, Robin, I've had cases where you just can't get it moving. And it's not your fault. I guarantee you they're working 24/7 trying to figure out the IP address to those emails and any other piece of information, whether it's forensic, whether it's phones, whether it's cameras. You can see they're actually now pulling video from various locations, traffic cams basically, to see if they can come up with something. But it's a tiring thing, and they just have to keep pushing.
What does it tell you that they returned the FBI returned to search the septic tank at Nancy's house and also went back to her other daughter's house?
So let's start with Nancy's house, George. I think you go to the septic tank because you don't know what they may have flushed down the drain. Could there be something in the septic tank that would give you maybe a potential lead as to who was in the house? Granted, a long shot.
Yeah, I don't think they would be taking a pole and poking around in the septic tank to see what they flushed. I mean, come on. What would they flush a camera down the toilet? No, they were looking for something very specific. We're not dumb. And shout out to Brad Garrett, former FBI, by the way. I'm not buying that one, Brad.
I assume they went back, or they went to Annie's house because there's something maybe, let's say, in the emails or another lead. They got another lead on a particular item or something like that. And so they go back to her house to search. Because that's what you have to do. You have to be open and flexible and move in directions you wouldn't normally move.
Brad Garrett, thanks very much. Such a strange.
Shout out to Brad, ex-FBI agent. We're going to get into more reports here, more amazing reports from Amy, because again, the situation gets wild when it comes to what's been happening in this investigation. Check this out. Amy says, a copy of the criminal complaint filed by the FBI alleges that Derek Colella sent a text message to both Annie and Tommaso. Hopefully I'm saying his name right at this point. I mean, it is what it is. Asking whether they had received the Bitcoin yet. And we've got the full complaint here. Check this out. And shout out to Amy for posting this as well. It says, complaint statement of facts constituting the offense or violation. On or about February 4th, defendant Derek Colella, with the intent to transmit a demand for ransom, did transmit in interstate or foreign commerce any communication containing any deemed or request for a ransom or reward for the release of any kidnapped person in violation of Title 18 USC 875. If y'all are wondering who this guy is, I guess I should have given you a background on this. We talked about him in a previous video, this is the man who was arrested for sending an alleged fake ransom note. So there were 2 ransom notes that were circulating. There were the original 2 or 3 that were sent to TMZ and another local station. And then there was another ransom note that was floating around that was sent to another local news station. Now, this is the guy who was arrested and found that he allegedly sent a fake ransom note. But there's some interesting facts here because it says count 2 is on or about February 4th of this year. Derek Kallela and Interstate and Foreign Commissions made a telephone call and utilized telecommunication device, whether or not conversation or communication ensues, without disclosing his identity and with the intent to abuse, threaten, or harass any specific persons. Well, what was that phone call? Let's get into it. This is a signature. We've got that here. Here's the official criminal complaint and what happened. NG, of course we know, Nancy Guthrie, was last seen inside her residence in the Catalina Foothills community outside of Tucson, Arizona on January 31st of 2026. Last seen by who? Why aren't we talking about that? Either way, Nancy Guthrie is an 84-year-old woman with mobility issues that likely preclude her from walking long distances unassisted. On the morning of February 1st, 2026, a friend of Nancy Guthrie's contacted the victim's family and notified them that Nancy Guthrie had not attended church that morning. Now, this is something we're going to get into in the next video, in the next segment. When it comes to the church situation, we've heard so many confusing stories about that. We're finding out that Nancy Guthrie wasn't attending church. She was actually going to a friend's house and watching church with her friend. And the friend was the one that, as they're saying here, located or contacted her family. And we'll get into that in the next video. And notified them that Nancy Guthrie had not attended church that morning. At approximately noon on February 1st, 2026, Nancy Guthrie's family entered her residence and determined that she was missing and reported her disappearance to law enforcement. Law enforcement officers arrived shortly thereafter and determined that Nancy Guthrie had left basic essentials inside her home, including her wallet, her car, her cell phone, her hearing aid, her medication, her keys, all that. And Nancy Guthrie's blood was found on the outside of her residence near the porch. On February 2nd, 2026, KOLD, a CBS affiliate in Tucson, Arizona, received a ransom demand via their online tip portal. The demand listed a Bitcoin wallet address to receive the ransom payment. On February 4th of 2026, Nancy Guthrie's family published a video asking Nancy Guthrie's kidnappers to contact them about their mother. So here's what happened, and here's why this man is being charged. Because on February 4th, shortly after the video was published, AC and TC, the daughter and son-in-law, we know that's Annie and Tommaso, of Nancy Guthrie, both separately received a text message from the following phone number ending in 0552 stating, "Did you get the Bitcoin?" Let me read that again. Annie and her husband both separately received a text message from the following phone number stating, "Did you get the Bitcoin where blank is waiting on our end for the transaction?" Wow. AC and TC received these texts while in Arizona. How did this man have their number? How is he connected to them? Where did he get this information? What is going on here? Did they get it? They didn't have Nancy Guthrie's phone. I mean, if they did, they would have had to go through the phone to say, "Oh yeah, let me find Annie and Tommaso." Did you get the Bitcoin? Insane. Law enforcement was able to determine through open source methods that the 0552 number was associated with a voice over internet protocol, or a VoIP text and call application that allows users to obtain another phone number for their mobile device separate from the number assigned to them by their wireless carrier. So either Google Voice, it could have been, who knows, Instagram, it could have been Snapchat, who knows. Law enforcement submitted an emergency disclosure request for the 0552 number. Based on the records provided for the 0552 number, that was registered to the following email address, of course, belonging to Derek Colella. The records also indicated that the 0552 number had been accessed from the following IP address at approximately 6:02 p.m. on February 4th. Law enforcement submitted an emergency disclosure request to the internet provider for the 103 IP address and determined that the IP address was associated with Colella's residence in California. After Miranda warnings, Colella admitted to sending the 2 text messages. He admitted to using a VoIP account from which the 2 actual text messages came from. Colella stated that he pulled the family's information from a cyber website. Colella pulled the family's information from a cyber website and that he had been following along and watching TV. When he said that he sent the text messages, he was trying to see if the family would respond. Data received shows that approximately 3 minutes after the text messages, Colella called a family member of Nancy Guthrie, which lasted 9 seconds. How in the world would this happen? Because 2 days after Nancy disappeared, I will have to go back and look at the timeline. I don't believe any of us were talking about Annie or Tommaso. 2 days after Nancy Guthrie disappeared, which would have been on Monday, I don't think we even knew that Annie and Tommaso were the ones that dropped Nancy back off at her house. So if this man's saying that on the 4th, he found them, that would be 3 or 4 days after that, and he keyed in on Annie and her husband. That doesn't make any sense. When he said that he sent the text messages, he was trying to see if the family would respond. Data received shows that approximately 3 minutes after the messages, Colella called a family member of Nancy Guthrie, which lasted 9 seconds. The 2 text messages have not been linked to the February 2nd ransom demand, but here we are, and that is signed by the FBI. Of course, I guess we're not going to know the signature. Interesting. And one more thing I want to get into that's being reported by Amy. And shout out to Amy for doing such a great job covering this. We have an update from the FBI as well. And what do they say? For over a week, a dedicated team of FBI agents, analysts, and crisis management experts have been working 24/7 to locate 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie. Despite these efforts, the Bureau has shared several sobering updates. No active communication. We talked about this. There is currently no ongoing dialogue between the Guthrie family and the suspected kidnappers. No suspects identified. This is insane. As of now, law enforcement has not named any of the suspects or person of interest in this case. Well, obviously Derek Colella would be. How is that just a dead end? National mobilization. Personnel from the FBI field offices across the country have been deployed to Tucson to staff around-the-clock command posts. Call for the public health. The FBI has emphasized that a single piece of information from the public could be the key to bringing Nancy home. And anyone who has any information, call 1-800-CALL-FBI. It has been 9 days since Nancy has last been seen, and the lack of concrete leads is deeply concerning for both the family and the community. Nancy has mobility issues, a pacemaker, and requires daily heart medication. Her family has made emotional pleas stating that her health is fragile and the lack of medication could be fatal. While a $6 million ransom demand via Bitcoin was reported with the deadline of yesterday, investigators remain skeptical about the authenticity of various communications. One individual has already been arrested for sending a fraudulent ransom note in an attempt to profit from the tragedy. We just talked about Derek Colella here recently. DNA confirmed that the blood found on Nancy's front porch belonged to her, and her Ring doorbell or her Nest doorbell camera was disconnected shortly before a pacemaker app lost its connection at 2:28 a.m. on February 1st. A lot of people are saying that may be the reason why they think the internet was cut and why the cameras didn't capture anything. was because her pacemaker, it lost connection. Maybe that was due to the internet. Analysis. The radio silence from authorities regarding leads could be a strategic move to avoid tipping off the perpetrators, but passage of time without proof of life or verified suspects has turned into an hour of desperation for the Guthrie family. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comments in the chat. I'm very interested in your thoughts about this criminal complaint, because there's a lot here that doesn't make sense when it comes to how this person was able to get Annie and Tommaso's numbers. Hopefully the FBI is still pressing this guy for information. Let me know what you guys think. Thank you to everybody who's in here. We've got 1,600 of y'all in the building. What do y'all think about that? This is wild. What is going on with Derek Colella? Because this man says he just went onto the internet and was able to find their phone numbers. I mean, I guess maybe there aren't that many Annie. There aren't any Annie Guthries, or what's her last name? I don't think her last name is Guthrie. AC. I can't pronounce Tommaso's last name. I haven't taken the time to anyway. On February 4th, shortly after the video was published, they got the text messages. And then it was tied to a VoIP, probably Google Voice. This guy wasn't very smart. He said he found the family's information from a cyber website. I mean, I guess if he was using Bitcoin, y'all are saying maybe he was a hacker. Amy says there's breaking news. Law enforcement is expected to release a surveillance photo of a potential suspect in Nancy Guthrie's disappearance. It better not be who I think it is. FBI found being impatient. That's a good one. What do y'all think about this? I want to hear y'all's thoughts too, because we've got another subject we're going to get into. Oh, I have to say thank you to Baz is in here. Baz has been a member for 1 month. Thank you so much, Baz. What does Baz say? I know it's a USA thing, but here in the UK, the focus on her. Oh, for some reason, I cannot see your entire comment. Why can't I see your entire comment? He says, I know it's a USA thing, but here in the UK, the focus on her religion sends such weird vibes to me. I think they have accepted she's not coming home. Ah, dang. I think they're just trying to clarify that she was, and I'm trying to fix this, sorry, that she was supposed to be at church and she ended up not being at church. So that's really what they're trying to point out. Again, it's a weird situation because we were hearing reports first that she was going to church and she was actually attending church in person. And then there were reports that allegedly the pastor was like, oh yeah, we're going to pray for Nancy and hope that she returns to church when she wasn't even going to church in the first place. So why I would say that? Maybe he was just trying to be PC and he had no idea who Nancy was in the first place, which would be my guess is sad. Some churches are like that, but yeah, who knows? Derek Colella to this situation like George Zen was to CK. Oh man. Just an agitator. But I mean, this guy, George Zen got sentenced recently for the part that he played in distracting or impeding on the investigation after Charlie Kirk was shot. But Derek Colella, I find it hard to believe that this man so quickly saw this opportunity to make money, looked up their number on the internet, and then sent them a ransom note this way. It's just, that's super crazy. Amy says it's wild how the FBI said last night they had no suspects, and now NBC says, according to law enforcement, they will release a photo of a potential suspect. What is going on, man? She probably never missed church from the video feed with a friend, so it was out of the ordinary. There's a lot of cases with no conclusion. I agree with that for sure. And we're going to talk about some more information coming up because, again, Amy has been all over this situation, and we got to figure out what's going on with Nancy Guthrie. Because I'm glad y'all are bringing up and talking about this church situation, because I think this whole church thing is weird. So I'm glad y'all are kind of on the same page with that, because we're going to talk about it here coming up in this next segment. Again, Amy has been completely up to date when it comes to reporting on what's been going on with Nancy Guthrie. And she's got some more information from us here when it comes to the timeline of what was going on with Nancy before she disappeared. As we know, she spent the evening with Annie and her husband, allegedly. And then the next day she missed church. This whole church thing is starting to bring up some questions, because we've heard several different stories when it comes to what happened with Nancy missing church. At first, it was said this 84-year-old woman who has mobility issues was going to church every Sunday and attending church. Now we're hearing that she may be backtracking on that story, even though it was reported the pastor of the church allegedly said that, oh yes, Nancy, I'm not sure why she wasn't there. She should have been there. Now we're hearing that Nancy never went to church. She actually watched church at her friend's house on the internet. So let's get into this topic again. If y'all haven't checked out Amy on X, make sure you do that and follow her for the most up-to-date news on this. You can follow her and get more information about this case and several others at IAMYLEIGH on X. That's at IAMELE on X. She says, timeline trouble. A source close to the Guthrie family is pushing back on the initial reports about Nancy Guthrie and when she was reported missing, saying key details of the timeline have been reported incorrectly. Shocker. Early reporting indicated that Guthrie was scheduled to attend an in-person church service in Tucson on the morning she was reported missing. But according to a family source, that account is inaccurate and doesn't make sense, because Nancy Guthrie had a standing Sunday routine with friends to watch Savannah Guthrie's New York church service via live stream, not attend local church like a source said. As a new detail surfaced, the FBI says there's still no suspect or person of interest identified after the third deadline passed in the alleged ransom. We're hearing there may be some breaking news here shortly that the FBI is going to release a photo of a suspect. We'll stay up to date on that. Let's check out what Fox News is finding on this situation with Nancy supposedly going to church. It's weird.
Suspect or person of interest with the search for Nancy Guthrie now in its second week. Her daughter Savannah posting an emotional plea for any help from the public on helping find her missing mother. Listen.
Hi there, everybody. I wanted to come on and just share a few thoughts as we enter into another week of this nightmare. I just want to say, first of all, thank you so much for all of the prayers and the love that we have felt, my sister and brother and I, and that our mom has felt. Because we believe that somehow, some way, she is feeling these prayers, and that God is lifting her even in this moment and in this darkest place.
I hope so.
We believe our mom is still out there. We need your help. Law enforcement is working tirelessly around the clock, trying to bring her home, trying to find her. She was taken and we don't know where. And we need your help. So I'm coming on just to ask you, not just for your prayers, but no matter where you are, even if you're far from Tucson, if you see anything, if you hear anything, if there's anything at all that seems strange to you, that you report to law enforcement.
Wow.
We are at an hour of desperation, and we need your help.
Joining us now is retired FBI Special Agent Robin Dreeke. Robin, thank you so much for joining us. So we have this new video from Savannah Guthrie and a second deadline that has already passed. What happens next?
Yeah, what happens next, Carly, is that they're just going to keep grinding like they've been doing every single day, talking to lots of people, collecting data, lots of leads, spending a lot of time at Nancy's house, because I believe that is lead central, because they were the main caretakers, which mean they had a knowledge of everyone coming in and out of Nancy's house all the time. So I think that's why they're focusing on that place so much.
Wow. What do you read into this most recent video by Savannah? The language that she used, the difference between the prior two videos?
Yeah, all the videos that they've put out are really well stated and crafted. I think she's such a great communicator, then combined with the crisis negotiators, they've really tweaked the language perfectly for multiple audiences. From the very beginning, we're very directed and broad, very empathetic message, to very transactional, directed right at the perpetrators of this, and then going back out broad again, asking the public's help in any way possible, and very specific with language too, in that they just want their mom back, and kind of insinuating in any way they can get her.
The FBI says that they are not aware of any continued communication between the Guthrie family and suspected kidnappers, and they're operating a 24/7 command post that includes crisis management experts, analytic support, and investigative teams. What's your reaction to all of those details and what all of that entails?
Yeah, well, who's been on the ground the entire time, 24 hours, and so they're prepared to take in any information that comes in, analyze it and process it and get it out to investigators. They're doing these leads all the time. And so that's what they're really focusing on. There's so much data coming in from the house, from the interviews, and so they're just correlating all that, trying to cross-reference things to provide it to the lead investigator in this investigation so they can be most efficient with the time they're using on the ground there.
Do you believe a ransom payment actually went through?
No.
I don't think so, because there was never ever sign of life or proof of life in any way. And that's what really stands out in this investigation and this crime that stands out from any other one in the past. First of all, they're extremely rare. Second of all, if they were really after money, they would have made it easy to get the money. And they didn't do that in any way. And one of the first things, because there's three types of abductions that happen, and this kind of fits in the middle one. The first top one is being professionally done, and they don't want public knowledge of it. They're directly communicating with the family, and the first thing, always they're providing proof of life, because their primary objective always is take care of the welfare of the person they abducted, because that's their ticket to what it is they're trying to get, and that's what's missing in this.
There's also
and in effect, think of everyone who it's affecting, because again, if she was taken and this wasn't made into this big of a deal, maybe they wouldn't be as affected. People wouldn't hear about it. So it seems like that's an intentional move, bringing it to the media, not communicating with the family. It's almost like someone wanted to make a spectacle out of this.
There's been some new information about the Sunday, the first day that we all learned that Nancy Guthrie was missing. Or sources are telling Fox News that she was actually expected to be at a friend's home to watch an online mass, not at church. It seems like a minor detail
it's
to
not
us,
a minor
but
detail.
could this
It's a big deal
matter in terms of the investigation?
I don't think it really matters about who is perpetrating this. And it might matter in the sense of who they're going to talk to more, because the more people you talk to, the more data points you're going to get, the more leads you're going to get. I think it's going to add to that. But the individual, I think, that targeted Nancy to begin with, this happened months and months prior to this, and so if it gives a glimpse into that, maybe someone else worked on the house that was part of this little group of hers, or something like that, or a passerby, just someone that randomly came up to do work in the neighborhood. That's where some data like that might help out.
One of your former colleagues, a fellow former FBI special agent, retired, I should say, named Stuart Kaplan, who you probably know well, says that the FBI's silence beyond what they said yesterday speaks volumes, and that it indicates that the FBI actually has a suspect. Do you agree with that?
So what I think is this. I think because of the treasure trove of information from the daughter's house, because, again, I mean, think about your own life with your own elderly parents. You're managing their lives about who's doing work on the house, who's coming and going, medical appointments and all these things. That's where all the information is. And this looks like, because they knew a lot of details about Nancy inside the house and things like that, was what we're gleaning from all these things. This person is in that pool of people that was most likely there. So knowing that name, yeah, I think that name is probably in a pool of people. So it's been filtered down to that. Just which one of those people in that pool of people, stretching back a week or a month or even a year or two, that's what they're trying to sift through right now. That's what I believe.
Yep. And we've actually, of course, got the breaking news and the live update here that Amy posted about, saying that law enforcement is going to release a surveillance photo sometime this afternoon about a suspect they believe was involved in the disappearance, the abduction, the kidnapping of Nancy Guthrie. We'll be one of the first to report it here on this channel. So make sure, if you guys haven't yet, you subscribe, hit the notification bell, and let me know what you think about this in the comments and in the chat. They've all been quiet. Everybody involved in this has been quiet. I want to see when they're actually going to talk about this potential suspect, because that's going to be interesting. And thank y'all for the love, man. Shout out to everybody who's in here. Appreciate y'all. We got over 1,600, we gonna say 16,000 people in this thing, and most of you have liked the video. Over half of you liked the video, so thank y'all for doing that. We're gonna look at and make sure we stay up to date on what's going on with this photo. Let's see what it's saying. Actually, let me pull this up. We won't make it into a full topic today, but thank you to Amy for sending this over. It says law enforcement to release surveillance photo of potential suspect. It says subject in Nancy Guthrie investigation. Nancy Guthrie, the 84-year-old mother of Today's Show co-host Savannah Guthrie, was dropped off at her home outside Tucson, Arizona, the night of January 31st. Authorities are set to release a surveillance photo showing a potential suspect in the investigation into the disappearance of Today's Show co-anchor host mother. I don't know why they say it like that. We know who Nancy Guthrie is at this point. According to two senior law enforcement officials, the FBI said yesterday that it had not identified any suspects or person of interest. So they lied. When we even heard from this fine gentleman here, former FBI, that they probably have a pool of people that they're working and looking at. Nancy Guthrie, 84, was dropped off at her home. The family believes that Guthrie is still out there and is asking for the public's help in finding her. As Savannah Guthrie said, the FBI said yesterday that it is not aware of any continued communication between the Guthrie's family and suspected kidnappers. Again, don't usually believe the FBI anyway. Let's see if we have more information here. This article was just released, actually. And they say authorities to release surveillance photo of potential suspect. Why do they say subject? What is that? Why do they keep saying subject? In Nancy Guthrie's case. We know who she is. And they say authorities are expected to release a surveillance photo showing a potential subject in the investigation into the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie. The photo could be released as soon as this afternoon, the senior law enforcement official said. And then, of course, we know Nancy Guthrie was missing. So again, we'll stay up to date on that and let you guys know what's going on. Make sure you stay tuned in. We'll find out what's happening, because hopefully it'll be some good news soon. Thank you to everyone that is in here. Thank y'all so much for the love. If you haven't yet, please make sure you like the video on your way out. Subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any time we go live. We will be making some form of content once this photo is released. So make sure you guys stay checked in for that as well. I'm going to read a couple comments and then we'll let y'all go grab some lunch. Sad to see him throw away his life like that. Oh, you're talking about James Pierce. I'm just glad it didn't end up worse. I'm trying to hit several people with the car. It did hit one. Yeah. When they speak about all these random people, what would be the motive since nothing was stolen? It makes no sense. Good point. This was targeted. This was targeted. Clearly, FBI linked Annie and Tommaso computer to emails from the Bitcoin ransom guy, but can't explain how the emails got there. They can, they're just not going to. I'm sure Nancy's church friend has been investigated. Oh, yeah, absolutely. The picture they released will look exactly like Tommaso, the son-in-law. Dang! Releasing a photo at 1 p.m. They are wearing a mask and a backpack. Don't tell me we got this again. I told Amy this, and I think I have an idea of what the suspect is going to look like. I'm not going to say it here, but I hope I'm wrong in this instance. But if I'm right, y'all know, if you've been watching the channel for any amount of time, I will say that on the next live stream we do. We will be back tomorrow, and we'll be dropping content throughout the afternoon. If there's a big press conference, we may actually go live this afternoon. So again, if y'all haven't yet, please make sure you like the video, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any time we go live. As always, you all know what to do. Keep growing, keep pushing, keep it classy. We gone. Peace.